I fell in love with the craft, kept buying expensive cocktail books, literally reading them front and back. It was pretty easy for me to implement already that culture into the restaurant. So like the rums, we love scotch, whiskeys we love as well. Eventually one sticks. Sometimes you get lucky, you get a good drink on the first try, and other times it takes weeks to months to finalize one cocktail.
Quite literally every drink that comes out of that bar is already magical.
Thank you,
So can we
thank you.
talk a little bit about how you stocked it, what your goal was, what your vision was, what
Yeah, I
your
mean,
past is?
Come.
so my
Shine, baby.
I'm in the video. So my background and with cocktails and just the bar in general, um, I guess you could say it was sporadic, but it was kind of planned out the way I did things. So I dropped out of college. I needed money. So my brother got me into a restaurant, fine dining Italian. I had zero experience. I was a little bit too honest in my resume, so they took like 3 months to call me back. Um, but I got in fine dining, and I just worked my way up in that one restaurant for like 8 months in every position. So I did busboy running, serving, bar back, and then eventually to bartender. And I was even an expo dieter with the kitchen chef and the dishwasher at one point for a little bit. So I just was just like taking it all in. Um, and so that restaurant eventually closed down. I had a little bit of bartending experience, and I just took that with me to the next place. And then I just continued it on and on and on. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. So I went from fine dining Italian to then what was modern British, then back to Italian. I did Korean for a little bit, French, Japanese. And so that was kind of my whole plan, was to grasp as much information of each of these cultures and each of these restaurants as much as possible. Take that once I get everything I need, go to the next place. So that was kind of like I was doing. I had a plan to already open my own restaurant. When me and Syad met a few years ago at one of these restaurants was how we met. We already kind of had those goals kind of aligned. And so again, that was just my plan. Take information, learn it, and just a lot of reading. So I fell in love with the craft. Kept buying expensive cocktail books and literally reading them front and back, self-taught in all those areas, and obviously the experience in the restaurants as well. So I took all of that and just implemented it here. So good quality ice. It's super important. People aren't. I don't know why every bar just has like pretty bad ice. I was gonna say a curse word, but I stopped myself. So things like that, and obviously the cuisine being here Latino, and me growing up in a Colombian Dominican household, it was pretty easy for me to implement already that culture into the restaurant. So like the rums, we love scotch, whiskeys we love as well, and all that kind of transcended and kind of reflects into this area because being that we're in Williamsburg, it tends to be European and they love the same thing. So um, and I was just able to just take all of that, implement it here, uh, trial and error with a lot of drinks. That's part of the fun though, and eventually one sticks. Sometimes you get lucky, you get a good drink on the first try, and other times it takes weeks to months to finalize one cocktail, and that's where I find the fun. And then obviously you get to be a little inebriated afterwards, so that's also fun too. um, so yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I did
What's
with it.
your favorite drink on the menu right now? Do you have one you're super proud of?
Uh, when people ask me about favorites, it's always so hard.
Because he made
I
them.
know.
It's like their baby. Which one's your favorite kid?
And
What's
honestly,
getting the best
it
feedback
depends on
right
my
now?
mood and the season. Because
Same with your
I'm like
kids.
a seasonal drinker. So like during these colder months, I do love whiskeys, like richer spirits. So right now, the one I'm drinking the most is the Añejo de Moda, which I think you had when you came. So that's the one that's an Añejo tequila that we infuse with raw cacao nibs. So basically just like the raw form of chocolate. We sous vide and cook it in a water bath for 2 hours. Then we let it cool down, strain all the cacao out. So it kind of gets like a chocolate nutty flavor in the Añejo tequila. And then we use that with some grapefruit bitters because grapefruit and chocolate is just like a good pairing. So again, this goes back to all the books I read. I even read like flavor Bibles and like chef books just to learn about flavor pairings and how that can translate into cocktails. So grapefruit, cinnamon, and chocolate is like an amazing pairing. So that's exactly what I did with that cocktail. I did a chocolate infused tequila, a grapefruit bitter, and a chocolate mole bitter, and then it all just gets balanced out with a little bit of cinnamon syrup. So you got a little bit of spice and a little bit of sweetness, and that's it. And then we just top it off with some smoke. You know, always account for presentation in any drink nowadays because we live in an Instagrammy world.